All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight it's just Keith and Chris. We're going to get into some predictions, projections for the upcoming baseball season. It's finally that time. It's springtime. Baseball is in the air. It's one of the best times in the year. But before we jump into that, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. It's free to you. We're on the push for 300 now.
Yep.
We're getting there. We're growing the family. We love it. So make sure you're dropping a like or a comment on those videos. If you do leave a comment, make sure, or we'll get back to you. We get back to everything, even if you tell us we suck. I mean, we had a guy last year tell Chris he was stupid for calling Cleveland the worst team in the playoffs, and then they go and sweep the wild card division. So,
well, I was stupid. So.
Well, yeah. But like I said, we're going to jump into some some baseball projections. We're going to be focusing on this video on the National League Central Division, which consists of the St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs,
Pirates,
Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, and the
Milwaukee
Brewers. So, 3 teams last year, two teams over 500. I think the other 3 were below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had quite a mix. About 3 teams under 500, 2 teams over. So
Yeah.
Mixed bag between Brewers and Cardinals having a great season.
Yeah. So I mean, the Cardinals still won 90 games last year. They were plus 90 games. Milwaukee was almost there. They were like 87 wins last year.
86 and 76.
So yeah, and then you had the 2 bottom feeders between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Both going 62 and 100.
Yeah. So Cincinnati last year was that team, that started off the year like 3-28.
Yeah.
So the first month of the season was not very good to them. But going into this, we'll start off with the St. Louis Cardinals. Looking at what they've added, kind of what they've kept, what they brought back. Obviously, a big piece for them that's being lost was Yadi Molina. He's been the cornerstone of that team for a long, long time. But on the flip side of that, they bring in Wilson Contreras, who has been a solid catcher, a solid hitter for the Cubs for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
So I mean, they definitely made a big acquisition in that. They're hoping to get Jack Flaherty back to be the Jack Flaherty of 2 years ago when the guy was striking out 200 plus people. Obviously, they get Jordan Montgomery back. The great
Monty actually pitched really, really well.
Monty's going to pitch very well for them. The great Gamecock alum. They got old Father Time still in there with Adam Wainwright, Miles Mikolas, and then Steven Matz, who had a really tough year for them last year. He was not a very good 5th starter last year, but
I want to say it was 5.
Yeah, he had a 5 ERA.
5.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So not what you want to see out of your starter, but up and down the lineup, I mean, they still have Goldschmidt, who was the MVP winner last year. They have Nolan Arenado, who is a great third baseman, who's good, hitting and defensively. Tommy Edmonds on that team, Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson's a big up and comer for them. I don't think they've got a pretty solid team across the board. This guy is, for those of you who can't see, but Chris just pulled up their left fielder, who is Lars Nootbaar. Don't know where. Yes, so young guy, 25 years old, coming in playing left field.
Right field. Tyler O'Neill's playing left field, but
okay, well, playing one of the corners.
I would say the most inexperienced part of their lineup. You saw Brendan Donovan a lot last year. Tommy Edmonds kind of shifting over to shortstop this year. Him and Paul DeLong will kind of rotate at shortstop. Edmonds can also play second base.
Edmonds can play outfield as well if they need it to be.
Yeah, both corners obviously really in depth, and then obviously Wilson Contreras. So Juan Yepez is
going to be
a fantastic DH for them. Yeah. So all up and down this lineup, I mean, a lot of experience, star power with Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and Wilson Contreras. Juan Yepez probably going to be that 4th, stud hitter for them.
He's going to be the guy that sneakily hits 30 home runs this year.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think the big thing for the Cardinals when I look at them, can they get a star pitcher, right? Jordan Montgomery's really good. I think he's a good 2, would be a great 3. Adam Wainwright's a number 3 at best. Miles Mikolas is a great 4. Steven Matz is just going to pitch on the regular season. You probably won't even see him in the postseason. He's so garbage. But can Jack Flaherty get back to being?
Can he be what he was 2 years ago?
Right, because on paper the Cardinals could be this could be a 100-win team.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely, especially with the bullpen they have. I mean, they have Giovanni Gallegos,
Jordan Hicks, and Ryan Hesley. I mean, that's three really
Jordan Hicks is a 100+ mile per hour guy.
Yeah.
So is the closer and Ryan Helsley. Giovanni Gallegos can go out there and get you 2, 3, 4 innings. I mean, the guy's just the guy's a utility guy out in that bullpen, so he's looking good. The next team in there, we're looking at Milwaukee, who I don't know if they really did much this offseason to really help their team.
Well, they got William Contreras, so it's cool to see both the Contreras brothers in the same division in a rivalry. But and honestly, that's a huge upgrade for them at catcher.
Oh, absolutely. They don't have anybody.
William not as good defensively as Wilson is,
but a much better hitter.
I don't know if I'd say much better hitter than
average-wise he is.
He's a much better hitter than everything Milwaukee had last year.
Yeah.
So they really actually get a great bat at catcher.
Well, and then coming in, they've got the reigning Cy Young winner Brandon Woodruff coming back, Corbin Burns. But they also have Brandon Woodruff, who's another 250 strikeout type of guy.
Yeah,
Freddie Peralta's another good guy. So they're lacking, I feel, going to that 4th, 5th starter role. Eric Lauer had a decent year last year.
Yeah.
He's not your prototypical fourth pitcher. And then Wade Miley's just it is Wade Miley, right? Yeah. Wade Miley's just kind of getting up there in age. I mean, he's only 20.
No, Wade's 36.
37.
Yeah, I was looking at Eric Lauer.
Yeah.
And actually, Eric Lauer went 11-7 last year with a 3.6 and 157 strikeouts. So I would say this guy's a good 4 to 5. And then Wade Miley, surprisingly, not a whole lot of innings last year, but 2-2 with a 3.16. So
I think he was hurt towards the end of the year, which is why he didn't get very much playing time.
Yeah. So maybe when I look at this, maybe actually Milwaukee has the best 5 starters in the division for them to be able to have a chance here.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely banking on their pitching more so than their offense.
Yeah.
I mean offensively, you still have Rowdy Tellez, who had a great year last year.
Big bombs.
Willie Adames, Christian Yelich, if he can get back to the Christian Yelich of old, like he was when he was playing in Miami.
I'll tell you 2 sneaky additions for Milwaukee outside of William Contreras, Brian Anderson and Jesse Winkler. Jesse Winkler
is going to be a great add for him if he can be what he was in Cincinnati a couple of years ago when he was hitting 330 and dropping just absolute bombs.
Yeah, I mean he
had a horrible year last year in Seattle.
Horrible year. But 305 with 24 bombs and 71 RBIs in 2021, then 219 with only 14 homers last year.
Yeah,
I mean, dude just fell off. So
that's
a
sneaky good ad,
right?
Especially if Yelich. Brian Anderson's been a thorn in the side of Atlanta Braves fans for the last I don't even know how many years in Miami. The guy just knows how to get on base.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely a solid, sneaky good play for them. I don't know too much. I mean, yes, last year they did lose Hader to San Diego, but they have Devin Williams.
Devin Williams pitched well.
Devin Williams had like a sub-2 ERA last year.
Yeah.
And he's projected to have 35, 36 saves this year. So, I mean, it's definitely not a bad, it's not a downgrade by any means. And they still have Javi Guerra out there. So, I mean, they're not too bad in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Moving on to Chicago. Of course, their big acquisition was of course Dansby Swanson,
Cody Bellinger, Trey Mancini.
Cody Bellinger shit.
I know. Eric Hosmer.
Eric Hosmer was a good play for them. I think Eric Hosmer will be back to the Eric Hosmer of the Kansas City days.
Yeah.
In Chicago because it's a smaller park. So Cody Bellinger,
only 27-year-old. That's my thing for Cody here. You're investing in a 27-year-old, not investing in a 33-year-old.
No, I agree.
Maybe he has time to kind of turn it around. He's going to play some good center field for him, but I tell you, this is a totally different lineup
than what it was
this year than what it was last year, and so that's why I'm not looking at the Cubs and saying, hey, they're gonna,
I definitely don't think they're gonna be a pushover. I mean, because they definitely have some talent on that team.
Yeah, they can compete in this division. I mean, Eric Hosmer makes them better. Tucker Barnhart's a good catcher. Nico Horner's gonna play second base. Dansby's at short. Pat Wisbaum's at third. Ian Happen left. Cody Bellinger in center. The Japanese guy that they picked up last year.
And Trey Mancini being their DH.
There's not a crap player in that lineup.
No, and their pitching staff is actually surprisingly not that bad. You have Marcus Stroman, who's a solid pitcher.
Yep.
He's not a strikeout guy, but he's not going to get you 8 innings. But I mean, he's going to go out there and pitch 5 to 6 innings, solid innings of maybe 3-4 hit baseball. They have Jameson Taillon coming in from New York last year. That was a big that was a big loss for New York, but a great ad for Chicago.
Kyle Hendricks is still there. Drew
Kyle
Smiley's
Hendricks,
still there.
yeah, Drew
Justin
Smiley.
Steele's still there. There's still a battle going on, obviously, for the closer role. You got Brandon Hughes, Michael Fulmer, and then Brad Boxberger. Yeah, who has been a closer before.
Brad Boxberger, Michael Fulmer. No, he's not been a closer. But Brad Boxberger has been a closer before. Michael Fulmer was actually a starter when he first came in.
Yeah, hard to believe Michael Fulmer's almost 30 now. This guy.
I remember when he came in, coming out of he was a big guy.
Oklahoma State, I want to say.
Yeah, he came from. He was a big name coming out of college.
But been in Detroit for a long time. And
yeah, so he was on a bad team.
Yeah, career 3.80 ERA. So, and Nick Madrigal, I forgot, is actually here.
Yeah, Nick Madrigal's in there too. They got
and
him
Christopher Morale, who's their young kind of second. He played second, third, and outfield a little bit for them last year. Guy actually hit pretty well, 16 homers. So
yeah, they got Madrigal from the other Chicago team. So I mean, he was a good pickup for them.
Yeah.
Moving into Pittsburgh next. Which is a dumpster fire, if I had to say so. I mean, they went and added old Rich Hill, who's going to throw his arm out any second.
He's 40.
We got Vince Velasquez, JT Brubaker, not a bad guy.
That's a 5, yeah.
David Bednar is probably their best pitcher in there, and he's the closer who might get 15
saves the whole year.
So
when you win 50 games, it's hard to get more than 15 saves.
So, but I mean, they did go back and get Andrew McCutchen back, after trading him off a couple of years ago, which they did the right thing by trading him off to a contender a couple of years ago. It didn't really work out for him, but to see him come back and kind of fit in his career back at the team that gave him.
It will be cool. I mean, Carlos Santana is a good DH. This is a guy that's going to hit 25 to 30 homers.
Especially in Pittsburgh.
Obviously Brian Reynolds, the rumors around him getting traded, so we'll see how long he actually makes it with the Pirates. G-Man Choi, a name we recognize.
From Tampa. Yeah.
So playing first base.
And Brian Hayes is a great young third baseman out there.
We'll see if he lasts too. He might get on the trade block.
He's got a lot of upside for sure. But
O'Neal Cruz is a star. People are going to be wearing his jersey this year. They're going to be talking about him. He's a stud at shortstop. The height, the arm, the power. Just kind of that next guy. But
outside of that, there's not really much to really talk about in Pittsburgh. I mean, they're probably going to be another sub 500 team again.
Yeah, Will Crowe, obviously a Gamecock. We're big fan.
Will Crowe had a solid year last year. Actually, coming out of the bullpen.
Chris Owens from down the street at Gilbert High School. We're a fan of the South Carolina boys there. Miguel Andujar has really fallen off. Can you believe?
Oh God!
Yeah, I know. He's fourth on their depth chart for third base.
Wow.
So this guy's fallen way off.
Way off. So going into the last team of the Central there, of course, you got the Reds of Cincinnati, who traded off probably their best pitcher last year in Luis Castillo. But they do have the young kid, Nick Lobato, who's got a lot of upside. Hunter Green's got a lot of upside. He goes out there and throws 100 and makes it look very effortless.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's definitely up there.
Luke Weaver.
They have Luke Weaver.
Fallen off.
Way off. So, but you look at their lineup. I mean, they still have Joey Votto, but he's out. He's listed as out right now, so he's probably not going to play much. Even if he does, I really don't think they're going to put him at first base because he can't throw.
He's so old too.
I mean
205 and 11 homers.
See, we can definitely go into this in another video, but that's why you don't sign these people to 10+ year contracts.
Yeah.
Because then you get stuck with them and they can't do anything. A big ad for them was Will Myers. I think Will Myers is going to be a great ad for them. Can play first base, can play a corner outfield spot.
It's going to be interesting to see him get back into an everyday starter.
Yeah.
And see what that looks like for him and how he bats. Some consistency of being in the lineup may help a guy like him.
Yeah, I agree.
Produce better. But
in center field, they have Nick Stenzel, who was supposed to be one of their up and comers. Obviously didn't have that great of a year last year. So, I mean, this is a really young team. They do have Jonathan India at second, who's going to be a big guy for them.
Yeah, everybody's really big on Jonathan India. So,
he didn't have a good year hitting last year, But I mean, he's supposed to be the up and coming guy for them. You know, he's going to be one of their young stars. This is a very young team, defensively at least. You know, so I mean, there's not a lot of veteran help out here, so it's really going to be interesting to see what they do this year.
Yeah. I know where I stand on my 5. If you're ready to take.
Yeah, so I think with my 5, I think St. Louis is going to be the number 1 again. I think St. Louis is going to be up there. They've got enough hitting to keep them in ball games, and I think their pitching is going to be fine. If they go out and make a move to move off of Matz to get another pitcher in there, I think they're going to be just fine. I would put Milwaukee at 2nd. I think their pitching keeps them in a playoff position. I think Chicago stays in that 3rd role. I think they're going to have a better season than they did last year just because of the key pieces they added. I think their pitching's pretty solid. And then it's a toss-up between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. If I had to say which team's going to be better, I would think Cincinnati would be the worst team, and I would put Pittsburgh at 4 and Cincinnati at 5.
I'm a little different for you on this one. I know we were the same on the last division, but I'm going to switch this up a little bit on you. I'm taking Milwaukee first. Yeah,
because of the pitching.
I think because of the pitching, just in general, from the 3 starters, or I guess across the 5 starters, look better to me. And the closer, Devin Williams, is obviously great. I think St. Louis's biggest advantage is their bullpen and their star power in the lineup. And I think
that's why I think they're going to be in a better situation to win, is because they can hit themselves out of a game.
Yeah.
Where Milwaukee, they get behind, they don't really have the depth and the power to get themselves out of a game. They have the pitching to keep you ahead, but you know, Woodruff gets pulled.
What's that look like?
Corbin Burns gets pulled. I mean, what's
that look like? So, for me though, I'm gonna ride with Milwaukee first, St. Louis second. I think this is gonna be a really tight. Honestly, I think it's gonna be really tight for all 3 because I'm taking the Cubs 3rd too, and I think the Cubs are going over 500 this year. I think they get themselves into a good position. So
no, I definitely don't think Chicago is going to be a bad team this year. I think Chicago did a lot in this offseason to make themselves a better team.
Yeah.
So I definitely think they're going to be above that 500 mark, be in that third place, and be contending for maybe a wild card.
Yeah.
They won't get there this year, but they're going to be contending for it.
I think that's fair. I actually think all 3 of these teams. I don't think there's going to be a wild card come out of this division. I think whoever wins the division is the only person making it to the playoffs. I'm taking Milwaukee on that one, but
because there's probably 3 teams out of the AL or the NL East that make the wild card,
or even the West with the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants. So, but I'm going to take Milwaukee, St. Louis, Cubs. I'm going to say those 3 teams are within 5 games of each other when this season comes down to it. So. Now, on the flip side, the other 2 are going to be 100-plus losing teams again. and I'm actually going to ride with Cincinnati in the 4 and Pittsburgh in the 5. I think Pittsburgh trades away Ke'Bryan Hayes, trades away Brian Reynolds. They really start to shop everything. Andrew McCutchen, final season, yada, yada, nice. Carlos Santana, 200 average with 25 homers.
Probably his final season, too.
Also probably his final season. So, and then the pitching. As much as I love Will Crowe, the pitching in Pittsburgh is horrific. They might as well trade their closer away too. Let him be a setup man.
They almost traded him last year.
Real team. So.
I just think the problem with them trading off some of these players is I think they're asking too much. Because they tried to get rid of Brian Reynolds last year.
Yep.
And they just wanted way too much for Brian Reynolds.
Yep.
I mean, he is a solid outfielder. He's a solid hitter, but he wasn't worth what they were trying to get like Mike Trout money and Mike Trout prospects for Brian Reynolds. So I just don't think that's possible.
I don't think so either. So.
I mean, he's a solid young player, but he's no Mike Trout. Fair. He's not Ronald Acuna. He's not Ozzie Albies. He's not Shohei Ohtani. He's not any of these guys.
He's Ozzie Albies.
Well,
he's Ozzie Albies. Yeah.
No, I'm going with that. But he's not Shohei. He's not Mike Trout. He's not Ronald Acuna. He's not Bryce Harper.
No.
I mean, he's not Manny Machado. He's not any of these guys.
No.
So.
No, I agree with you there. So, all right, hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think is going to win the NL Central. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.